Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street.
Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GPS Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making us, GPS, a part of your afternoon routine. Always a pleasure to be in your company. So, this is a Wellness Wednesday, and every Wednesday around these parts, we look at a matter that is of importance to your health. And I want you to definitely like and share the show today. If you or anyone you know is suffering from any kind of, this show is going to cover so many issues. Difficulty losing weight, eye problems, blood sugar problems, if you've been told that you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, if you've been told that you have high cholesterol, if you've been told that you are at risk for a stroke because of clogged arteries, any and all of these problems are going to be addressed today. And I will tell you this, I learned so much in my preparations for this show, even about what's been going on with my body. I got some really good information. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is good to know. I want you, please, this is so important. Please like and share the show. Let everybody know they need to tune in, because the knowledge that I'm going to be sharing with you, not just today, but this is so comprehensive that I think we're going to have to take a couple of weeks to get through all of this. So this is going to be part one of a series of shows that I'm going to do that all will center around a particular theme, but you will realize that this one thing could be the trigger that is causing so many of the health issues that we're facing today. The telephone numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook, on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm pages. We're also on YouTube, on the official Global channel and Michelle Malcolm channel. And we're on Cable Bahamas channel 974. So for those of you who receive a notification on Facebook about what the show is going to be about today, you might be tuned in and think, but that's not what Michelle said she's going to be talking about. But yeah, bear with me, because we have to sort of lay a foundation that is going to lead us to talk about what the description mentioned. But as you will hear, this information is so important, people. This is so important. In the description, I put that we're going to be talking about the benefits of healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. But we have to build up to why it is important for you to consider healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. And that's where this foundation is going to be laid starting today. And I have to tell you, based on the information that I have, I seriously doubt that we're going to get to the aspect of the actual ketosis, healthy ketosis diet, and intermittent fasting. I really don't think we're going to hit that today because that's how comprehensive this information is in terms of setting the stage for that conversation. But the information that you're going to receive in this first show of this series is probably more important, if not equally as important, as what you can do about this problem. And that's where we're going to get to the point when we actually talk about the healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting options. Please, people, you all know how sick we are as a nation. And much of it has to do with just a lack of knowledge. People don't understanding what they can do to fix a particular problem. And so they go to the medical professionals, and the medical professionals are treating them based on their knowledge, but people aren't getting any better. They're simply managing symptoms. And this is why this show today is so important. Please, 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 if you know anybody who is suffering from any kind of blood sugar imbalance, whether it's high blood sugar or low blood sugar, anybody who is suffering from any kind of eye disease or degeneration, glaucoma or macular degeneration or anything else, high cholesterol, dementia, all of that is going to be tied into what we're going to be talking about today. And so this is a very, very important show. So let's dive right into it. The first thing I want to look at is the vast amount of common problems that we see that are related to this overall overarching problem. Remember, I always say that your body it's all interconnected. So one system affects the other, which affects the other, etc. Well, there's this one thing that is impacting all of these different areas of your body. Unfortunately, when you go to see a traditional medical professional, they treat that one area. Let's say it's macular degeneration or glaucoma. They only focus in on the glaucoma, but they never try to figure out what is the starting point. What is ground zero? What led to your eyes having the challenges that they're having? Then I tell you all, I learned just as much from this as you're going to learn today. I told you all a couple of weeks ago about my issue with what I thought was something in my eye, which turned out to be floaters. I learned through the research of this show the link between what we're going to be talking about and floaters. And I'm like, whoa. So yeah, people, we got to talk about this today. So please share the information, call up a friend, let them know that GPS is on the air and we're talking about something that is affecting their health today. And eventually, over the course of the next week or so, we're going to get to what they can do about it. But for right now, we're going to give you the information about the basic problem. So there are many common problems that are a result of this condition. And we have to look at the cause because there is a common denominator here. And for all of this information, we're going to be hearing from Dr. Eric Berg, who's one of my favorites, who comes from a naturopathic approach. And this information is taken from a webinar that he did dealing with this topic. So let's begin with the many common problems that we see existing that are related to this and the cause.
The most common health problems out there nowadays, and I'm just going to list the most common ones, Stubborn belly fat, like so many people have that. I mean, it's just everywhere. So that's one thing. That is a health problem. Fatigue. People are tired. They're tired mid-afternoon, like I was. They are tired after they eat. And then we have problems sleeping. They don't wake up in the morning, feel refreshed. They lost that vitality. They can't get the sleep. They're excessively thinking 24/7 when they're trying to sleep. They get up in the middle of the night. They have sleep apnea. They have a lot of sleep issues. And then you have all sorts of mood disorders, anxiety, depression, very common emotional roller coaster stuff. Memory loss. They go in a room, they can't quite remember why they went in there. Their tolerance for stress is low. People get on their nerves easily. I know that's hard to believe, right? But it's very, very common. So these are the common symptoms that most people have. But then it actually shifts to more and more issues that related to blood sugars, like cravings for carbs, can't go a long time without eating, urination at night, cravings for chocolate and chips and salt. So this is what happens. And then down the road, these problems magnified. So you get inflammatory conditions, you get memory issues, dementia, you get a fatty liver, you eventually become a diabetic, you have problems with heart problems, clogged artery, potential heart attack, and stroke. But other than that, you're doing pretty good, right? Other than the high blood pressure and the cholesterol, you're doing fine. So what I want to talk about is cause and effect. If we take all of the conditions out there that are in existence, and if we look at the common thread that goes amongst all these symptoms, both short-term and long-term, there's one thing that comes up that's so common, and that is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance. So I want to talk about that, because if you don't know about this, I would definitely pay attention, because this is the main culprit. This is the cause of all these issues. And if you understand it, you can quickly, rapidly reverse it and improve your health way, way more than anything else. Way more than taking a vitamin, way more than exercise. So it's all based on this one thing.
Insulin resistance. Now, I know I did a show a couple of weeks ago about insulin resistance, but this is going to go much deeper than that particular show went into. Because if you understand the damage that insulin resistance is doing to your body, and in this show, we're going to talk about what insulin resistance is, what is insulin, how it affects the body. Like I said, we're laying the groundwork today. In essence, we're making the case for a healthy ketosis. And I notice I say healthy ketosis because there's some unhealthy keto diets out there, but healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. This show today is making a case as to why we should all be considering doing this. And at the core of this conversation today is insulin resistance. And you heard all the common problems that he mentioned at the beginning of his clip. How many of you recognize yourselves as having one or two or more of those symptoms that he mentioned? How many of you have been told that you are pre-diabetic or diabetic? And I know there's a lot of Bahamians who are battling with that right now. How many of you have stubborn belly fat that you can't seem to get rid of? How many of you are having sleep issues? How many of you are dealing with high cholesterol? How many of you know somebody who recently had a stroke? How many of you know somebody who has dementia, early onset Alzheimer's? How many of you know somebody who has toenail fungus? I could go on. That could take up the whole show. Just talking about the common problems that all come back to this one thing: insulin resistance. So clearly, we have to spend some time laying the groundwork, talking about what is insulin resistance, how does it happen, why does it happen? And as you will learn, a key part of this whole conversation is how your body processes sugars, why you may have too much sugar in the blood. We're going to get into all of that today. But insulin resistance is at the core of many of the health issues that we are experiencing and not getting any better because we're never getting to the root cause of the problem. Please, people, like and share this show. Out of all the Wellness Wednesday shows I've done, this is perhaps the most important one. I place that much emphasis on the knowledge you're going to receive today. Really, really important stuff. So you have to understand how insulin resistance happens. I saw a really good description, and then Dr. Berg, I'm going to play another clip, and he's going to go into more detail about what is actually happening in the body. But I saw a really great video online that oversimplified it, and I'm going to start by telling you what that person said, and then we're going to hear the explanation from Dr. Berg to break it down even more. Imagine that insulin. Well, first of all, understand that the cells in your body need sugar. Okay, you can't function without sugar. Every cell in your body needs sugar. Okay, your body needs sugar, but it's only so much that it needs. So imagine insulin is like a salesman representing Corporation Pancreas, because your pancreas is responsible for producing the sugar, regulating the sugar that the body needs, right? So insulin is a salesman for Corporation Pancreas. Corporation Pancreas produces the sugar and gives it to insulin, and insulin's job is to go knocking door to door. He's a door-to-door salesman, and the doors that he's knocking on are the cells. So initially, the cells welcome this salesman because they need what he's selling. They need the sugar. So he knocks on the door. The cell opens the door. Yay! The sugar man is at the door, and they receive the sugar, and they tuck them away into the cell, and then Mr. Insulin moves on to the next door. So the first time he comes, it's all well and good. And then a couple hours later, he comes back again. So the cell is like, well, you were just here, but I have a little bit more room. I could take some more. And so the cell takes some more sugar. But then a couple hours later, he comes back again. So the cell gets to the point where it is saturated. Don't need no more sugar. But Corporation Pancreas didn't get the message that it needs to slow down on the production of the sugar. It keeps sending the door-to-door salesman out. So eventually it's going to get to the point where the salesman is going to come. He's going to knock on the door of the cell. The cell is going to say, "You again? And I just told you 20 minutes ago I need no more sugar." And the cell is going to just cut him off. Cut the door-to-door salesman known as insulin off. Look here, don't come back to my door no more, because you are here. And I just until you an hour ago, I am saturated. I don't need no more sugar, and you keep coming back. That is a crude explanation of insulin resistance. Now, in this clip, Dr. Berg is going to do a much better job than I just did of explaining what happens when you have insulin resistance.
Most people know insulin is a hormone that's made by the pancreas, and they know that it reduces blood sugars, but that's kind of where it stops. But insulin has a lot of other functions too. But typically at this point, I just want to let you know it reduces blood sugar. So if you eat sugar or carbs, your blood sugar goes up, insulin kicks in there, and it brings it down. Okay, so that's That's what insulin is. But what happens is the body doesn't like too much insulin, especially if you're consuming too many carbs. An average person consumes about 28 to 31 teaspoons of sugar every single day. I know. Well, normally we should only have, 1 teaspoon, but we can get that from protein and other foods. We don't need to take any sugar. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. So what happens is, as a protective mechanism, as a defense against the toxic effect of insulin and sugar, the body starts to block this insulin, starts to resist it. So what happens, it goes into the cell and then it's not received properly. So it's kind of like if you talk to someone and they're just talking too much and they won't shut up. They just go on and on and on. You're going to phase them out. But when you stop listening to them, they keep talking. They'll keep talking more and more, right? So that's what happens with insulin resistance. When that insulin, too much communication goes in the cell and it's toxic, the body blocks it, but then there's no feedback to let the pancreas know to turn off the insulin. So the pancreas makes more and more and more insulin. Okay? So that's what happens. So an average person that has insulin resistance has basically 5 to 7 times more insulin than a normal person. So this is not good. So we have the situation where we have a lot of insulin, but it's not working in the body. It's not a good combination, okay? Because one of the purposes of insulin is to help fuel the cell. And if the cell is blocked and you starve the cell of fuel, it starts craving things. Okay, it starts craving and it can't do its work, it becomes weak, and it creates a lot of other issues. So what the body does is it tends to recruit sugar from other sources, like stored sugar in the liver, for example. So the body will start using up that sugar. Okay, especially the brain. The brain demands like most of the sugar in the body. It needs a certain amount of sugar. So in the blood, if there's not enough sugar, because there's a problem with insulin, because it's unavailable, the brain suffers first, and that's why people have a lot of cognitive issues. They have 2 things. One is cognitive issues, which is memory, concentration, focus issues, and then they have actual memory, going in a room and they can't quite remember why they went in there, and then they have mood disorders. Okay, so their mood starts to go down. Grouchy, irritable, angry, anxiety, depression, and even anything with the head, like headaches. That's a blood sugar thing. It's a total blood sugar thing. It's insulin resistance. That's what it is. Now, in the cell, what happens is insulin lowers the sugar, and what it does, it converts it into fat. So, this is really important. So if you've checked out, just check back in right now, because this point is vital. Insulin when it lowers the sugar, it puts the excess into storage. So insulin is all about storing fat. It's a fat storing hormone. It's a dominant fat storing hormone because in the presence of a little bit of insulin, you're going to be storing fat like crazy.
So that would explain why you got the stubborn belly fat. That's a part of the reason why you no matter what you do, this belly fat isn't going anywhere. And usually if you see, like after meals especially, you bloat up around the midsection, chances are you have a blood sugar imbalance problem. Chances are you've got insulin resistance. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about what is insulin. We're going to have Dr. Berg break that down. And then we're going to talk about the impact of insulin resistance on blood sugar levels and what that looks like in your body. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this Wellness Wednesday. Michelle Malcolm in your company. You can call in at 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or the WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. And yes, you can call or text us on that number. We're streaming live on Facebook, on the official Global 99.5 FM Facebook page, as well as my official Facebook page. Same thing for YouTube. You can check out Global's official channel and my official channel. And finally, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. So we're talking in the first part of a series of shows on Wellness Wednesdays about making a case for why we should all be doing healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. But before we get into that, we have to make the case. And key to this conversation today, key to this common problem is insulin resistance. You would have heard at the beginning of the show, if you tuned in from the beginning, all of the various conditions that we are battling, diabetes, dementia, blood sugar problems, eye degeneration, high cholesterol, stroke, you name it, we are dealing with, bottom line, a problem with blood sugar, insulin levels, more specifically, insulin resistance. So it would help to understand what is insulin, and that's what Dr. Berg is going to describe in this next clip.
It stores sugar. It actually uses the sugar as fuel, but it also stores it as fat and cholesterol and triglycerides. So most of the cholesterol in someone's body is coming from the glucose. And then also it prevents the burning of fat. So in the presence of insulin, you're not going to burn fat. So it blocks that. So you can't lose weight. So everyone walking around with a gut, they got too much insulin. Okay? So it lowers blood sugars, it stores sugar, it makes fat, it prevents fat burning, and now it does a couple other things. It helps you absorb protein, amino acids. So without that, you start having loss of muscle mass. You have problems with wasting of cartilage and connective tissue and ligaments and tendon problems and loss of discs in your spine. So you start shrinking, sagging skin right here, sagging belly skin. This is inability to build muscle when you work out. It's because the cell can't pull in protein. Also, insulin has a lot to do with absorbing minerals, specifically potassium. I mean, think about if you become deficient in potassium, which most people are because we need so much, we need like almost 5 grams of it. That's 5,000 milligrams every single day. That's a lot. We need that. But to get that, you have to eat large quantities of vegetables, like 7 to 10 cups. No one does that. So on top of insulin resistance, you become so depleted of potassium, you're going to notice leg cramps. You're going to notice fatigue. You're going to notice arrhythmias in the heart. You're going to notice an inability to feel calm because potassium is a physiological relaxer, tranquilizer. It calms things down. Insulin also is like the key that unlocks the door that allows you to absorb other nutrients too, vitamins as well. So you're basically nutrient deprived. So it doesn't matter what vitamins you take, you can't pull it in. So insulin is really important, very important. Now, here's what happens. Check this out. So we start with high insulin, right? And then we go for many years as your body develops insulin resistance with normal blood sugars. So because insulin resistance is compensating for this excess and trying to help you regulate it, and it pumps out more insulin to keep the sugar down, your blood sugars stay normal. So check this out. You have high levels of insulin that then progress for years. Okay, so you have insulin resistance. The body's trying to compensate for that by producing more insulin to drive in the message into the cell and try to keep things going. Okay, but we have normal blood sugars for decades. Okay, so now eventually the cell loses its power and its ability to compensate, and now it's for some reason stops putting out more insulin, can't compensate anymore to keep up the demand, and now the sugars start going up. Sugars go up, and that's when you get diabetes. Okay? So that's the mechanism. But here's the thing, the doctors never, ever, ever test fasting insulin, because if they did, they would have caught this a long time ago.
I really can, I believe what Dr. Berg is saying, because oftentimes, like when I'm doing health evaluations with my clients, and based on their, what our health evaluation system does is it asks you questions based on 4 categories of disease. Those 4 categories would be the hard tissue category, the soft tissue category, blood sugar imbalances, and digestive disorders. And so oftentimes when the results come back in, their blood sugar category number will be very high. And I would look at that and I would say, based on this, you have a blood sugar imbalance. No, my blood sugar level is fine. I just did a test and my blood sugar level is fine. But yet, based on the symptoms, you could tell that they have a blood sugar imbalance. So what he just said made a lot of sense. For a long time, it may seem on the surface that your blood sugar levels are normal until your body can't compensate anymore. And then that's when we see it piling up to the degree where they say, oh, now you have pre-diabetes or now you're diabetic. And you're trying to think, well, hold on. Last month I was fine. And now you're telling me I'm pre-diabetic? Now I guess this is why a lot of people say the doctor trying to put blood sugar on me or the doctor trying to put diabetes on me. Because for so long, their results may have been saying that they had normal blood sugar levels, but in reality, the body was just compensating until it couldn't compensate any longer. Now, who knew that there was a connection between bone loss, cartilage loss? How many young people, I ain't even talking about older people, how many young people you know happen to have now knee replacement and hip replacement and this replacement and the next replacement? That's not normal. That is not normal. But this is, we're seeing people younger and younger and younger having to have these replacement surgeries. This very well could be a strong reason why. But again, if your medical professional does not know to look for this, then they're going to completely miss the point. And then they do what they do best. They zone in on a particular symptom and still miss the root cause of what triggered that in the first place. So you're putting all your attention on this symptom, meanwhile the degeneration continues. And this is one of the challenges that we have. And this is one of the reasons why I dare say we have such chronic disease in this country. Because we're too busy treating symptoms and not digging deep enough to find out the root cause of these problems. So when you have this ongoing, long-term challenge with insulin resistance, then it starts to impact different areas of your body. And guess what, y'all? One of those areas is your eyes. Now, I suspected, speaking of myself, that I had a blood sugar imbalance problem for several reasons. I would crave carbs a lot. Or every now and again, I would crave something sweet. And if you have a craving, I keep telling you all, that's your body's way of telling you that it needs something. And then some time ago, I heard, I think it was Dr. Peter Glidden, saying that if you have any issues with toenail fungus, you maybe have a blood sugar imbalance that you're not aware of. And I was like, So I suspected for a while that I have had an issue with blood sugar imbalance, but I was still eating carbs. Not bread per se. You know, I don't do the gluten. So whatever I was making was gluten-free, but not necessarily low carb. And now I know that that makes a big difference. I mean, I always, I knew that carbs turn into sugar, but still not making, you know something head knowledge, but you still ain't applying it. I was guilty of that. And to say that when I heard what I'm about to play next really helped me to realize, wow. I mean, I recently put myself on Sweeties, which is a product that they offer at Longevity that helps to balance our blood sugar levels. even though I've never been told I'm diabetic or that I have a blood sugar problem, but just based on the knowledge that I've been receiving, I know I crave carbs a lot. Every now and again, I could do something a little sweet. And I've seen it work on my clients. My clients who come to me and say, Miss Malcolm, I got a sweet tooth. I always craving sweets. I put them on sweeties, and when I go to them a month later, the cravings are gone. I see it working on them, but I still was eating the white potatoes. I was still eating the carbs. Well, this clip right here, yeah, I think I bought my last white potatoes. Listen to this clip about the impact of insulin resistance on your eyes.
So when you have high insulin or high sugar, you get styes in the eyes, you get redness underneath the eyelids, a lot of irritation. It feels like there's a foreign object in the eye that you have to rub it. It could be like feeling like a sand. I had that. Dry eyes, and the cataracts, which is the kind of the whiteness on the eye. So what happens with the cataract is you start seeing cloudiness, and then they have to do surgery, which can be totally prevented if you keep the insulin low. And then you have something called diabetic retinopathy. Now, if you think about in the back part of the eye, you have the retina. The retina is nerve tissue that extends outside the brain. Okay? So retina is basically your brain outside your brain in the eye. Okay? So it's a visible part of the inside of the eye, but it's part of the brain. It connects to the optic nerve that goes directly back into your brain. So what happens is you get damage from the high sugar with the tiny micro blood vessels that feed the nerves, the retina, okay? And you start getting floaters, you start getting edema and swelling, and you start getting stickiness and starving the nerves, and eventually you go blind. That's the leading cause of blindness in diabetics is diabetic retinopathy. Retina means disease of the retina, okay? So you get all these issues, and it's very, very common, and you start getting blurred vision. Glaucoma is also affected by high sugar, where the pressure starts increasing in the eye to the point where it starts compressing all the inside structures of the eye. So you get damage with the lens, the retina, all these other issues. You get dry eyes. I had that, okay? And the tear ducts tend to dry up, and the eyes just become very brittle, and they tear and they rip, and you get corneal erosion. Yeah, a lot of issues.
The good news is that this can all be reversed. If you catch it early enough, it can be reversed. Okay? If you deal with the problem at the root cause, it can be reversed. I started to notice, like I said, the floaters in my eye, and before what I think is important to note that you would have heard him say in one of the clips already in the show, that when you have insulin resistance, it actually blocks your body's ability to absorb nutrients effectively. So that makes you a double victim. Because if you listen to my show often enough, you know that if you're not absorbing the nutrients that you're taking, this is a problem. And a lot of people are suffering from malabsorption, either because they're taking the wrong type of nutrition. In other words, it's formulated from, say, minerals in their raw state, so your body can't break it down. Or their gut is so damaged that they're not absorbing anything because of the ongoing damage that we've done to our guts. And now the third reason is if you're suffering from insulin resistance. It will actually block your body's ability to absorb nutrients. And that within itself will lead to all manner of problems. You see how important this is? This is extremely important. Now, before my sweeties arrived, because I've only been on it now, I don't even think I know it's definitely not been a month as yet. But I had noticed the floaters, and I told you all the story how I went to the doctor and the doctor told me, well, as we get older, and I'm like, what? So I noticed the photos only in my left eye. And as I was waiting for my sweeties to arrive, along with my other nutrition that I had run out of and wasn't taking, waiting for it to arrive, if you pay close attention, you know your body better than anybody else's. And I noticed my left eye was starting to droop just a little bit compared to my right eye. I noticed it. Now, other people looking would say, Michelle, I don't see what you're talking about. But I noticed it. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here with this eye? Well, since I've been back on my nutrition and since I've started taking the sweeties, I noticed that the droopiness is no longer happening. And I'm seeing less floaters than I had been seeing in my left eye. So I say that to say that this is totally reversible. Give your body what it needs and it will fix itself. I tell you all that all the time. Now, I had decided that I would cut back on carbs. And wouldn't you know it, I started craving carbs. I really felt the other day like, boy, I miss having bagels. But I ain't eat a bagel in years, but all of a sudden I can't stop thinking about bagels. So you know what I did? I went online and I Googled keto bagel recipe, how to make a bagel, keto, friendly bagel, gluten-free, obviously. And I found this really good recipe online. Almond flour, plain Greek yogurt, mozzarella cheese, and some cream cheese. Now, for those of you who may be vegan, I've seen similar recipes just without the cheese, just the two ingredients, namely the almond flour and the Greek yogurt. And I made myself some keto-friendly bagels. And I made sufficient of them that I froze most of them, and when I'm ready to eat one, I just take it out the freezer and put it in the toaster oven, and then I'm good to go. Listen, I have been thoroughly enjoying my keto bagels, not having to worry about it spiking the blood sugar levels because ain't no carbs in there. As much as would have been, let me put it this way, for a normal bagel. So you have to make a decision that you are going to do whatever it takes to get healthier. And if that means switching up some things with your diet, which the way we eat in this country, obviously that's going to have to happen. So, I started with the gluten-free. Wonderful. Good stuff. Heal the gut. Great. But now I realize I got to graduate to more of a healthy keto because eating the amount of carbs that I was eating was still impacting my blood sugar levels. And y'all know, like, for instance, how much during the summer I could put down some mangoes, right? I got to cut back on that, much as I love them, because I am trying to balance out the blood sugar levels. So what decisions do you need to make to heal damage that's been done, reverse it, and start to get your body to heal? Because trust me, my eye is feeling better, my left eye. I'm not seeing as many floaters, and that droopiness that I noticed that had started to happen is no longer happening. I can't tell the difference anymore between the two eyes. So I want to encourage you as we go through the show today to see where you fall in this equation, or one of your loved ones who you know is going through something, and make the decision that you're going to do what you need to do to fix it once and for all, because it can be reversed. But you have to play a major role in this. I say it all the time. There's no amount of nutrition that will outdo a poor diet. Unfortunately, a lot of people are eating what they think is, not a poor diet, but it's still doing damage to the body. So again, in this show today, I am making the case for healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. Next week, we're probably going to get to actually what that looks like in terms of diet and, habits, etc. But right now, I think you need to understand why we should be considering this. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at the damage that insulin resistance is doing to your feet. Yeah, anybody who losing limbs? They need to hear this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after
Your
this.
body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, pinch, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Last is love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Radio 99.5.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here. On this Wellness Wednesday, we're talking about making the case for intermittent fasting and healthy ketosis But first, we're talking about insulin resistance, which makes healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting necessary. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. You can call or text us on WhatsApp. And of course, you can check us out on Facebook, where we're streaming live on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm pages. Also streaming on YouTube, on the official channels of Global and myself. And also, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. Insulin resistance. What is that doing to your feet? How many of you know somebody who's diabetic who has lost a toe or two or three, or had to have their foot removed? Well, according to this information that we're going to receive today, that pretty much could have been avoided had more attention been paid to the challenge of insulin resistance at the very beginning. So here's a clip talking about the damage that can be
Now,
done.
in the feet, the bottom of the feet, in the toes and the fingertips, you get something called peripheral neuropathy, okay, which is damaged. It's the microvascular damaged blood vessels that supply the nerve. So then the nerve dies. And so the first symptom is pins and needles, tingling, burning, pain. Then it goes to numbness. Then it goes to necrosis, which is dead and dying tissue, and we call that gangrene. And it starts spreading with the toe, so they chop off the toe and then the foot. I mean, it's insane, completely unnecessary. And by the way, if a person has enough nutrition in their body and they're not deprived of nutrients, specifically the B vitamins, specifically B1, they're less likely to get peripheral neuropathy, by the way, and diabetic retinopathy. That's a side note. So nutrition does have an important part of it, but the carbs that people are eating are depleting the nutrients.
Yeah, that's the challenge right there. So before we look at more specific ways that it can impact the body, I want us to spend some time talking about the symptoms of high or low blood sugar, because these are symptoms that many of you may be dealing with and just not realizing that that's what it is. You may think that it has absolutely nothing to do with blood sugar levels, when in fact, it has everything to do with the blood sugar level. But because of what he explained earlier on, where your blood sugar may seem normal for a long time while this problem is developing, you might be having some of these problems and not making the connection between the two. So I think it's really important that we understand what are the symptoms of high blood sugar, what are the symptoms of low blood sugar. Again, you may see yourself in this, because a lot of people right now are going through this, and again, just not understanding the connection. I'm not, this is as educating for me as it is for anybody out there, because I would have not put the connection between what I've been experiencing in my eye with my blood sugar levels, even though I knew that I should have paid closer attention to my blood sugar levels. I was still trying to figure out why I was having these floaters in my left eye, because in spite of what that doctor said to me, that's not a normal part of aging. So here I was, racking my brain trying to figure out what could have caused this problem to start developing in my eye so that I could know how to fix it. Well, I honestly think I was led to this information about the connection between insulin resistance and the eyes. Because, oh, okay, that's what's going on with my left eye. So now I know that if I correct the blood sugar imbalance, if I give my body what it's craving to balance out the insulin levels, because a lot of it has to do with nutrition and two specific minerals that will actually help to uh, balance this out. Now I know what I can do to deal with this challenge with my eyes. So I see where I'm frozen on my camera. Jason, can you? Okay, now it's up. All right. So let's go ahead and play this clip about signs and symptoms of high and low blood sugar levels so that you can understand if you see yourself in this, that maybe, just maybe, that is what is leading to your health challenges, and you should pay some attention to this.
Now, in this process, some people, like myself, don't just go right to high sugar. They first go to low sugar. It's called hypoglycemia or low blood sugar. And so I just want to name off some of the symptoms, because if your adrenals are involved or your liver is unhealthy, then you're going to experience more symptoms with low blood sugars, because the adrenal in the liver helps to prevent the sugars from dropping down too low. If the sugars get too low, it starts releasing hormones like cortisol, the adrenal stress hormone, and even adrenaline, and even hormones from the liver to release a lot of stored sugar. It's called, basically dumps the sugar from the liver to counter the low blood sugar. So if your liver or your adrenals are weak, then you're going to start seeing a lot more symptoms with low blood sugar, because you don't have the help from the adrenals to prevent low blood sugar. Okay, so hungry between meals, that's a common symptom. Definitely craving for sweets. Nervous, irritability, brain fog, tremors, shakiness, fatigue, anxiety, panic attacks, sweating, heart palpitations, confusion, cold extremities like your hands or your feet, migraines, tinnitus, schizophrenia, forgetfulness, itching, vaginal yeast infections, fainting, insomnia, crying spells, decreased libido in women, sighing frequently and yawning, and increased heart rate. And there's others as well. Those are all low blood sugar symptoms. Whereas high blood sugar symptoms increase thirst, sleep after meals, increase urination, especially at night, and the volume of glucose. Because think about it, your body's trying to dilute the sugar as a mechanism to protect you. So it actually gets rid of the glucose through peeing frequently. So your body's trying to help you. And getting thirsty to dilute the excessive sugar. That's why. Trouble concentrating, weakness, tingling, sensation, high blood pressure because the arteries get stiff, restlessness, inflammation, inflammatory conditions anywhere, frequent hunger. That's why you need to eat every hour and a half. Dry mouth, dry skin, erectile dysfunction, ear infections, kidney damage, cardiovascular, which we'll get into, peripheral neuropathy, retinal damage, that's the eye, fatty liver, stroke, heart attack, aneurysm, that's like a ballooning out of the arteries because you start getting weakness with the wall of the vessels. Cataracts, that's the cloudiness on the lens, so it's like opaque, so you can't quite see clearly anymore. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay, so those are just some of the symptoms with hyperglycemia. Well, hyperinsulinemia, which is high insulin, we just covered that, but short term, high blood pressure, sodium retention, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. See, those are all that's all the symptoms from metabolic syndrome. Okay, that's what causes metabolic syndrome. Brain fog, polycystic ovarian syndrome, decreased concentration, and then long-term heart attack, thickened arteries causes high blood pressure, blood clots. If it's in the heart, it's a heart attack. If it's in the brain, it's a stroke. Alzheimer's, because you get plaque in the brain, stroke, dementia, and the list goes on and on and on.
I'm sure you recognize yourself in there, right? Or somebody that you know that's going through these things. People, please share this information. I am really saddened when I see the level of sickness in our country. And I see where the government is now saying that they're going to, put programs in place to um, take a more proactive approach to getting our people healthier, which I applaud. My challenge, though, is that I really hope that in their efforts to do so, they invite not just the medical doctors to the table, but they also embrace persons with knowledge as it relates to nutrition and the holistic naturopathic approach. Because we all know that the medical professionals will come from one approach. That's the allopathic reductionist approach. So their training is that, once you start to have these symptoms, that's it. All you can do is manage the symptom as opposed to fixing it once and for all by getting to ground zero, looking at the root cause. So if that's the approach that we're going to take, then I dare say that it won't be very successful. I believe that um, they need to invite everyone to the table who has any contribution to make, so that we can really get to the bottom of it. Because the Bahamas is far too sickly a nation, far too sickly a nation. And a lot of it has to do with our diet. But have you ever wondered all of the madness and the violence and the anger that we see in our society today, and how much of that could be because people just have some nutritional challenges? How many people are there walking around with blood sugar imbalances, insulin resistance, that's causing them to be the miserable people that they are? And I ain't trying to, be funny about it or anything. It's a serious question. How many of the challenges that we're facing as a society could possibly be addressed if we were to meet the nutritional needs of our people, and get them to have a paradigm shift, no pun intended, so that they can understand what's happening to their bodies and make it easier for them to access healthier options? Would our society be better off? Would people be more able to cope with some of the things right now that are taking people out? These are questions I think we need to answer, because I really believe that a lot of what we're seeing, a lot of the social ills that we're experiencing in our society can be tied back to poor nutrition and poor diet. And remember now, I often say that there's no amount of nutrition that can outdo a poor diet. So in my case, I'm taking nutrients. I'm doing what I think is good. But as long as I continue to eat a lot of carbs, those carbs are getting into my system, turning into blood sugar, contributing to a problem of insulin resistance, which, like the domino, you set up this whole long line of dominoes. You only got to knock the first one, and then this domino effect takes place. So one thing affects the other, which affects the other, which affects the other. Now I'm dealing with floaters in my eye. You ain't got to tell me twice. So cutting out the gluten was good. I definitely saw some improvement in my health. Now I am, the funny thing is, the lectures at the Institute of Holistic Health have been proponents of the ketosis approach for a very long time. I just wasn't checking for it, because I figure, man, look, I don't give up my guava duff. Now you want me to go, but now I realize that they were right. And I really have to do something about it if I intend to not have a droopy left eye that I can hardly see out of. And it just goes to show you, we have the power to make decisions as to what we need to do to improve our health. And unfortunately, sometimes we need to have our back against the wall before we finally make the right decision. Unfortunately. So let me read a couple of your comments and then we'll go to the next clip. So Rain says, the hypo is just as numerous as the hyper. I'm with you, Miss Malcolm. There could be a correlation between dietary deficiencies and violence. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there is. Okay, so let's look now at arteries, the impact that insulin resistance has on your arteries, high cholesterol, your brain, and your liver. Now, this is important because a lot of people are dealing with high cholesterol, especially. And what does the doctor do? They put you on a statin drug to lower the cholesterol. But I keep telling y'all that cholesterol is not the problem. And in this clip, Dr. Berg is going to explain to you why that approach is not the right approach.
Now, what's happening to the eye and the feet is happening in the arteries and the inner lining of the major vessels to the heart, especially the coronary, which comes from the word crown because it's like right around the heart. What happens is you start getting damage in the endothelial cells, which is the internal lining of the arteries. You start getting lesions or breakage in those cells. So at that point, you're going to get leaking blood. So, and your body's going to sense that we need to do some healing. So now comes the cholesterol and the fibrin, which is the protein, and then the calcium and the white blood cells, and you have an inflammatory condition to try to heal it, and that's what forms the plaques. So cholesterol is not the bad guy. It's at the crime scene, but it didn't start the problem. It only is trying to help patch the problem. So another piece of information that most people don't understand. And then you eventually get a clot, okay, which is different than plaque. Plaque is more hard, and you can have a soft plaque and then a clot that can form. If the clot goes up to the brain, you get a stroke. If it gets stuck in the heart, you get a heart attack. Here's a picture of a microhemorrhaging of the lining of the artery. In the brain, you basically kill off your brain cells and you have atrophy of the brain. Your actual brain shrinks. Yeah. And it affects a structure in the brain called the hippocampus, which comes from the Latin word which means seahorse because it looks like a seahorse. But when you destroy the hippocampus, you start getting amnesia. That's the symptom. Memory loss. Okay? Early signs of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is really diabetes type 3. Now, let's talk about this because the liver is really the hub of this whole insulin resistance thing. Because what's happening is a lot of this damage is happening in the liver. Your liver is trying to cope with this, and all the extra carbs are being converted to fat around the liver first. So that's the first target that you're going to get. You're going to fill up the liver with fat, then it's going to turn into scar tissue, that's cirrhosis, which is going to be very inflamed. So you're going to get inflamed, scar tissue ridden, and fatty liver. If the person has belly fat, they have a fatty liver.
And based on all of that, then you have the problem of chronic inflammation. And I would have done a show prior about the dangers of chronic inflammation. So you see how this is all connected? It's like the domino effect. One thing affects the other, and then that affects the other, and then that affects the other, and then that affects the other. And by the time you finally make it into the doctor's office, they're only looking at the very last domino that fell. Let's zone in on this last domino. And they ain't checking with all those dominoes that fell prior to that. So they never get to ground zero. They never get to the cause where this all began. If you don't believe anything else I say today, believe this. Disease doesn't just happen. There is no such thing as developing a disease because you have bad luck. Disease doesn't just happen. There's a reason that something goes wrong in your body. And our job is to find out what that reason is and then help you to reverse that by cleaning up your diet, making some changes to your lifestyle, getting the nutrition that your body needs, healing your gut, etc., etc., etc. But disease doesn't just happen. It doesn't come out of nowhere. There's something that would have triggered that to begin. That's a concept that you need to understand. Because if you understand that concept, you realize that you're not really a victim per se. Because a victim, something just randomly happens to that person. But if this is something that didn't randomly happen, then I don't consider you a victim. There is something you can do to change it. It's not completely out of your control. That's the point I'm trying to make. But you have to be willing to make the changes. You have to be willing to put down the bad foods that are damaging the body. You have to be willing to make the changes. And if you do, I'm telling you, your body will heal itself. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. We have to talk now about what are normal blood sugar levels. That on the other side. Stay with us.
Global paradigm shift will return.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
We are back. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show on Facebook. Let everybody know that they need to tune into this Wellness Wednesday. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm pages. Numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272. 3260272, the WhatsApp line 8010271, 8010271, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. So we're talking this week and next week and maybe even the week after, making a case for healthy ketosis, emphasis on healthy, and intermittent fasting. Why should we all consider doing healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting? And so we're making the case for that based on the damage that the body is receiving as a result of insulin resistance, because two of the best ways that you can deal with insulin resistance is through intermittent fasting and healthy ketosis. So this is what we're talking about today. And like I said, I thought today was necessary as opposed to just diving into, okay, you do need to do healthy ketosis. No, let's talk about why. Why should you consider doing it? And I will tell you, this information was eye-opening for me. So I can imagine those of you out there who are hearing it for the first time, how, eye-opening it is. But yeah, this is some serious stuff, people. That insulin resistance thing is a serious thing. You're talking losing cartilage in your knees and your back. And, the first thing the doctor will tell you is, oh, you need to have a hip replacement or, surgery on your spine or this and the next. Man, you just got to balance out your blood sugar. Give your body what it needs. And it will regrow the cartilage. Yeah. But they can tell you that. Because they can't make money from you regrowing cartilage. But that's another show. So what is normal blood sugar? What does that even look like? Because we have been abusing our bodies for so long with the amount of sugar that we consume that we don't even know what normal blood sugar is anymore. Well, in this clip, Dr. Berg is going to help us to figure it out.
Normal blood sugars. When you go to the doctor, they'll check your blood sugars. It should be between like 80 and 100, but it should be better be like between 80 and 90 milligrams per deciliter. And I want to explain what that means. What that means, it's only like a teaspoon of sugar per all of the blood in the body. So you have about 1.3 gallons of blood in your entire body if you're an average person. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little less. But if you take a 165-year-old person, they have about 1.3 gallons of blood. So if you took 1 teaspoon of sugar and mixed it all through that, that's what normal blood sugar is. But an average person consumes a lot more than that, up to 31 teaspoons a day. That's like insane. So that's basically 31 teaspoons too much. Yeah. But it's hidden as breads, pasta, cereal, crackers, biscuits, waffles, pancakes, muffins, sodas, juice, and alcohol. So that's what happens. It's all hidden. People say, oh, I don't eat sugar. Yeah, but you're eating wheat and breads and things like that. So insulin resistance is a compensation to protect you against the excess sugar. If you don't change your diet, your body will then block it from going in, but then it comes with a package. And your body tries to help you only so long until finally it can't do it anymore. Okay, so now I want to talk about something very interesting. Insulin resistance happens in the cells, but it can also happen, and it does happen in your fat cells. Think about this. If you have insulin resistance in your fat cells, then what's going to happen, it's not going to let any more fat in there anymore, or glucose. It's not going to convert glucose into fat. It's not going to let any more fat in there because it's resisting it because it's filled up. So with insulin resistance, what the body is trying to do is get all the sugar out of the body and stick it into the fat cell. But there's a point where your fat cell gets, it's like a balloon. It gets only so much where it gets filled up. Then it spills over into the organs, into the liver, around the organs, as in the gut. It's called visceral fat. Fat around the organs. That's the spillover because your cells are saturated with fat. It's like that balloon is going to pop. It can't take any more fat. If you ever see those movies like Hoarders, where they their house is just packed with stuff, same thing happening, but in your body. So this picture, like you have this garbage that you never take out. So you stick the garbage underneath the sink, and then you stick it into the cabinet, and then you stick it in the living room, and then the bedroom, and then over time, your entire house becomes unlivable because there's no more spaces. This is exactly what's happening. When you see someone with a belly, they have insulin resistance to such an extreme that the liver is filled with fat. If they ever had an ultrasound, they would see that. Around the organs, there's fat, and it's just sticking out through the gut. That is like one of the biggest indicators that you have some serious insulin resistance and your fat cells are to the extreme. So it's dangerous because now the fat's going to spill over in the organs, around the organs, and plug everything up. Okay? So you can see right here on the left side of the screen, normal fat cells, and then the large fat cells. And you will always see these large, overinflated fat cells with insulin resistance. Okay, the name for it is called hypertrophic adipocyte. Okay, you don't need to know that. But the point is that they just become so big. Okay? Now, at this point, someone is then going to lose control of the insulin resistance, and now it's at its max. Then the sugars are going to start to going up. Okay? Why? Because all the fat around the organ, in the arteries, in the liver, in the pancreas, it's going to block function, so things can't work anymore. So you're going to have a gradual shutdown of your organs. That's why a diabetic has a 22 times more likely increase of mortality rates. They're going to die 22 times more than a normal healthy person because of all these other complications that are occurring. But most people don't even see the high sugar yet. They get all these symptoms because of high insulin, and eventually they get the high sugar. So it's a wake-up call. And they're put on metformin, which actually improves insulin resistance without usually correcting the diet. So now what's going to happen is they're going to stabilize the blood sugar, but they never fix the real problem.
Yeah, people, this is the problem. Fixing the real problem, getting to domino 1. That should be the goal. Not just zoning in on the last domino, because that's the one that's right in front of your face, and ignoring all the ones that fell before that. That's the ticket here. So just know that your body is very, very intelligent. It's a very complex, intelligent system. And it was designed by the ultimate source of knowledge and intelligence, and wisdom. And it was designed to function based on a very complicated system, a complicated regulatory system. And whenever something goes wrong in that system, most of the times because of our interventions, then the body will malfunction because it wasn't designed to run out of water. Imagine that this perfect this perfect system was created by a god of water, and your body was created to follow a particular order. And when we interrupt that order because of poor eating, because of poor lifestyle choices, because we're not getting the nutrients that our bodies need, we're not getting sufficient rest, because we're constantly under stress, constantly, all of these things contribute to the deterioration of our bodies. But the good thing is, and I tell people all the time, if y'all watch this show regularly on a Wednesday, you'll hear it a million times. Believe the diagnosis, but don't believe the prognosis. Because the prognosis, more often than not, will say to you, you have to take this medication for the rest of your life, or you have to, your only option is to have this surgery, or when that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it is when you've allowed it to go so far. But if you give your body what it needs in the order in which it was designed, your body will correct itself. That's the absolute truth. The question is, are you willing? Or are you satisfied with being on medication for the rest of your life? Are you satisfied with being a well-managed diabetic? A well-managed hypertensive patient? Nothing causes me to cringe more when people say that to me. Well, we have it under control. I'm a well-managed diabetic. And I'm like, would you prefer to manage your disease well, or would you prefer to be completely healed? Completely rid of the disease, which makes more sense. But we have become so used to this one way of thinking. And we have bought that one way, hook, line, and sinker, as gospel. We think that's the only way. And it's not, people. Believe me when I tell you that's not the only way. I've seen it time and time again. Clients who were told that they had to have surgery to replace a knee, cartilage gone. And without surgery, their cartilage is back and they walk in again. I've seen it. I've seen clients with sciatica told that they had to have surgery on their back. No surgery, change your diet, introduce nutrition, back in order. No surgery needed. I've seen it. I've seen kidney disease reversed, even though the doctors say that's impossible. I have seen it. Hypertension, easy fix. I've seen that time and time again. I've seen clients who were on insulin, which we're going to learn in the next clip from Dr. Berg. That approach of the medical professionals to give you more insulin is really insanity. But I've seen clients who were on insulin, put on insulin by the doctor, trying to manage their blood sugar levels by introducing more insulin. And after a couple of days of nutrition, sending me pictures saying, I can't believe these numbers. I haven't seen these numbers in years. Like, how is this possible? Give your body what it needs. Get out of the way. Two basic things. Now, stop doing the damage. One more clip to play. We're going to take a break first, though. This is our final break of the show, and then we're going to talk about the insane treatment options that are being offered to people out there and why you need to open your mind to consider something else. We'll be back.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
All right, welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in these last 9 minutes of this Wellness Wednesday show. I hope you got something out of this today. I know I certainly learned a lot as I was preparing for today's show. I want you to please like and share this show. Make sure people get this knowledge because too many people in this country suffering. Too many people suffering sickness and disease they don't have to be dealing with. Many people lack knowledge. Many people perish for a lack of knowledge. So let's get the knowledge out there. Let's help people to know that they have other options that they can take advantage of that can help them to become healthier. So they say the definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing over and 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 expecting a different result. Yeah. So if you consider everything that we would have learned today on this show about insulin resistance and the role of insulin and what insulin does and how it's produced, yada, 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 yada. And then you consider what is the typical treatment for people with blood sugar imbalances, like diabetics. What do? Put them on more insulin. Cray cray. That's insane. But this is what we're doing to people. I can let Dr. Berg explain it. He'll do a far better job than I can. Here now is the final clip of today's show. The insane treatment options that are available to people who are suffering from insulin resistance.
Where do you think this sugar is going? It's sticking around the organ. So the person gets worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where the blood sugars aren't working anymore, even with glucophage or metformin. And so now they need insulin. So diabetic type 2 is now taking insulin and glucophage at the same time. God. It's terrible because the person already has too much insulin. So now we're going to actually add more complications. This is like completely and utterly insane because the person's going to get worse. They're going to start having vision issues because the actual cause is not corrected. And then you're going to eventually have some serious side effects and eventually die. And the doctor's going to say, well, these are the problems with the diabetic. That's what happens. We just try to extend the life. Well, you actually shorten the life by giving the person too much insulin. And then they give you a bag of candy so they can compensate because you don't want it to go down too low. Completely and utter insanity.
Insanity. But this is what we're doing. Listen, I have a good friend, a really, really good friend who's a diabetic. But because I don't have MD in the back of my name, they ain't listening to me. They listen to the doctor. They on doctor medication. The other day, they start losing their eyesight, having vision problems. Just recently had a mini stroke. But they on doctor medication. And I'm saying to them over and over again, listen, you're taking the wrong approach. You need proper nutrition. You need to make these changes. I might as well talk to hear myself. They ain't listening to me. Because the doctor say, but you going blind. We have to get to the point, people, where we realize that you can only share what you know. And I'm not blaming the medical doctors because they are doing what they were trained to do. And many of them have not been trained in nutrition, unfortunately. I am very, very encouraged that many doctors nowadays are beginning to understand the link and are now starting to study nutrition. That is very encouraging to me. But many of them are not. Many of them will actually tell you. I've had clients tell me, I took this to my doctor to see, and my doctor say, I shouldn't take that nutrition. I'm like, what? But they got you on 10 different medication. They pumping you up with all kind of chemicals, but you must not take nutrition? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That is the definition of insanity. But yet we leading people down this rabbit hole. And they get into the medical Alice in Wonderland and they can't figure out how to get back out because you're busy listening to the person who leads you down the rabbit hole and refuse to consider that maybe, just maybe, they don't have all the information you need to get better. Insanity. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, then I think they have room for you up in Sandilands because you got to be crazy. But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. People, I can only encourage you as much as I could. I can only try. I highly encourage you to take matters into your own hands when it comes to your health. And I'm not telling you that you should ignore your doctor. And no, because as I keep saying on these shows, doctors play a very important role when it comes to acute situations. They are very good at that. That's their wheelhouse. That's what they do best. So you get into an accident, you have a heart attack, they are really good at, stopping a thing or sewing you up or replacing a limb that's been, lacerated. But they're good at that. That's their thing. Thank God for doctors because they save lives every day in acute situations. But long-term chronic disease, you better get sense, man. We're talking about your life. I can leave that one right there. Tomorrow's Thursday. Another thought-provoking show being planned for you. Make sure you tune in, but please, people, like and share the show. Let everybody know they need this information, especially if they go through any of these chronic conditions, because they ain't got to be suffering like that. Be willing to do something different if you expect a different result. My time is gone, y'all. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow, God willing. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions.